Hello, I'm Chef Sherry Ronning, and I'm here with another recipe from my Griddle cooking series with Chef Sherry Ronning. And I am going to teach you my favorite recipe. This is a classic sandwich recipe, but there's a lot of people that kind of mess it up or don't exactly know the right tips of how to make the perfect sandwich, and I'm here to show you how to make the perfect griddle grilled cheese sandwich. And it goes perfect with tomato soup or any other type of soup. You can have it for or for lunch. You can have it for dinner. Uh, I just love this sandwich. I eat this all the time. I mix and match different things, and just depending on my needs. But the perfect grilled cheese sandwich starts with the bread. This is something that is super, super important. I've seen my husband always wants bread or wants his grilled cheese sandwich on thin processed wheat bread, and that just drives me crazy. I like to have, if you can get like maybe even like a thicker bread, which is good, but like a good homemade white bread works perfect for this. There's all different types you can get. You can get ciabatta. I get just like a sandwich bread. I actually have a supplier here. I'm from Michigan, and I've actually searched out different bakeries, different places to find my bread. And I'm super picky when it comes to this. It is a really touchy situation with me. I like this like nice, fresh, white slice. It's really super soft. And this I get this because it's pre-cut and it's on the thin side. You can do a little bit thicker, which is fine too. I've actually done the grilled cheese on like a Texas toast, like a thicker one. But for me, that's kind of a little bit too much bread. This here seems to be perfect. I love this. So this is what I'm going to be using, just a classic white homemade style bread, and this is going to be the base. And I'm going to do like a mixture of cheeses. This is completely customizable. You can use one. I like to use this is American cheese, and but this is a restaurant quality, and we get it at Gordon Foods. We get it like in bulk, and but it's really good melting cheese. So that's going to be one of the slices. I'm also using cheddar cheese slices, and I'm using provolone. I've done so many different like kind of cheeses. I've done cheddar jack. I've added mozzarella. It kind of just depends on usually what I'll do is if I decide I want a grilled cheese, I'll go in my crisper department and I'll look to see what kind of cheeses I have in the refrigerator. And that's what I end up using. And so it's not particularly like, oh, I can't make it if I don't have this kind of cheese. You can mix and match the cheeses up. It's that to me, sometimes I've created grilled cheese sandwiches that I love just by doing different combinations of the cheese. Another super important, this is like majorly important, is softened butter. It is, and I use like real butter. I use salted. This is another thing that I go round and round with everybody, and a lot of people use unsalted butter. I don't. I like the salted butter. If I'm having toast, I want the salted butter on there. I don't want to have my toast with unsalted butter. To me, that just isn't happening. So I've always done the salted butter. And then I just adjust like recipes when I'm baking and that kind of thing. I will adjust the salt in the recipe to match the butter. So that's just my 2 cents on that. Everybody's different. I know my husband doesn't like the butter, so I will have to make his with I use the I can't believe it's not butter stuff that he likes. Everybody has their own. This is just my favorite. This is how I do it, and super super easy to make. We're going to get started. because it's gonna be very quick with this recipe. So I have the electric Blackstone Griddle. I have it set at 400 degrees. It's preheated. I've already got it preheated. So I'm going to take my softened butter, my 2 slices of bread. I'm going to go like that. See how easy it doesn't rip the bread apart. If you use like cold butter, you're going to have it so it rips the bread apart. You want the whole top just spread with a very thin layer. You don't want thick, just really thin. So then I'm going to take that and I'm going to flip this over so that the sides match. That's one thing too that's important. And, and I didn't use a whole lot. You don't need really a lot when you're doing this. And I've had people that tell me, I know like Dan and I've had this discussion about using mayo, and I have tried it. And for me, I'm just not a fan. I would rather use butter. But then again, I grew up on butter. Butter was something that I've had for as long as I can remember. We've always had butter in the house, and we lived on a farm, so we always had like the fresh butter and stuff. So, okay. So with my sandwich, I've got the butter and I have the 2 sides here. The 2 sides are buttered like that. So I'm just going to put the cheese, and I'm going to do this before I put it on the griddle so it's ready and it's melting and it's not cooking already, because this is a very quick recipe. And I'm just going to add a slice of cheddar cheese, and you can add as many slices or as little as you want. That's really up to you. This is a bigger slice of bread, so it's not 100%. One slice isn't covering just the whole thing. So, hi Dan, how are you? I'm just talking about the mayonnaise debate. Do you use mayonnaise on all your griddle sandwiches? That's one thing I've tried it a few times, and I guess prefer to use the butter. So, okay, so I'm doing 3 cheese. This is going to be a 3 cheese grilled cheese sandwich. So I have the American, the cheddar, and the provolone slices. And I'm just going to put this right in the middle. You can hear the sizzle of the griddle. And put the top on it like that. And I'm going to kind of press down just a little bit to adhere the butter to the griddle. And then we're just going to leave it be. This is where you need patience. Just let it be. It's not going to take very long, but you can't keep fussing with it because you want that good contact on the griddle. You want to keep that good contact to keep it brown. And you can kind of look, like I'll be able to see the golden brown color starting on the edges there, and then that's when I'll flip it. So with this sandwich, you really want to only try to flip it just the once. So it cooks on the one side, it gets nice and golden brown, and flip it over, and then do the other side. So Dan says not always. He doesn't always use the mayonnaise with the sandwich, and I think that's just preference. So if you like to use mayonnaise instead of butter, then do that. That's the perfect thing about this. Do what you like to use and do what the flavors that you like, because your tastes are going to be different than mine. That's one thing that I found that, I've tried, like I copy somebody's recipe and it's like I try it and it's like, yeah, if I would have just did, like they always say, make a recipe when you're learning how to make a recipe. Do the recipe the first time, do it completely the way the recipe says for you to do it, and see how you like it. If you don't like it, if there's some things you would do different, then the next time tweak it and do it just a little bit different. And then the third time, make it all your own. Like if you need to adjust several different things in a recipe, but usually that third time is when you like completely make it your own and adjust the recipe to your liking. So that is something that I learned a while back. And for me, it was kind of hard. When I first started cooking, it was like if I didn't have, say, like if I didn't have butter to do this, I wouldn't make this sandwich. I wouldn't do it. But you can use mayonnaise instead if you want, or you can mix it up just a little bit. Okay, now I see. Hopefully it's not too done, but I see it's getting golden brown there, so I'm gonna flip this over. Look how perfect. Look how golden brown. It's not burnt. It's just the perfect crispness, the golden brown, the edges, the center is all, that is the perfect griddle part of a sandwich. And this is where I found that people will mess up a grilled cheese sandwich, is that they have a tendency to want to flip, and then if you keep on flipping it, you're not going to get that golden brown, that nice crispness of the griddle flavor on your sandwich. It's just something that happens, and so it's just be patient. I can see the cheese is melting. Let's see if we can get close here. Can you see the cheese is starting to melt on there? So that's another thing that's important too. It's like, don't have your griddle too high to where that it is like taking just seconds to brown each side, because then the inside will be cold and that cheese won't melt. So you need the kind of the balance of having the hot griddle to get the crispiness, the brownness of it, but having enough time for that cheese to melt. And yeah. Yeah, I love this. This is like one of my all-time favorites. I had this as a kid growing up. We would go to my mom's house, and my mom actually made it, which it might gross some people out or whatever, but Velveeta cheese. That's what, when I grew up, it was this type of bread with the butter, and she used to do the Velveeta cheese in it, and so good. My kids still talk about that to this day. They miss her grilled cheese sandwiches. And then she used to always have clam chowder, like a creamy clam chowder soup. And to this day, we haven't been able to find that. It was a can. She used to always just buy certain cans. And we have not been able to. Oh, look at that. Look how gorgeous that looks. It's perfect on both sides. Oh, it's hot. Look at the cheese. Look at the drippiness of the cheese right there. That is exactly what you want. Pair this with some tomato soup. This is like my ultimate meal. I can have this for lunch. I can have this for dinner. I love tomato soup in a grilled cheese sandwich. That to me is the perfect Valentine's Day dinner. You know, it is what it is. I'm a simple, I don't need a fancy meal, don't need nothing, real expensive. Just give me some good old food and I'm happy. So this also too, if you're Catholic, this is tomorrow we have Ash Wednesday. So this is a perfect meal for you to have for Ash Wednesday, or the Fridays in Lent. So no meat Fridays. This is a perfect meal to kick it off. I'm just going to cut this in half like that. Look at probably if I let it dangle, yep, it's starting, the cheese is starting to melt out of there. Look at that. Look at that. That is what you want. Super simple. Didn't take me very long to make. And nice toasted. Just gave you some tips. So the tips that I gave you, the right bread. You need the right bread to start the whole sandwich off. If you don't have the right bread, it's not going to be the same. You need softened butter, and I prefer salted softened butter. I think that, to me, that really makes a difference. And you can use a variety of different cheeses. You can use the same amount kind of cheese, but to give it a little bit of a kick, do the different variety of cheeses in there. And when you cook it up on the griddle, make sure not to keep on flipping it. Just flip it once, get that nice golden brown color on it. You're going to love it. So what are we at? 15 minutes. I talked way too long, but there you go. The perfect grilled cheese sandwich. I hope you guys like this recipe. This recipe I actually have on my website, and I have thousands of people looking at a griddle grilled cheese sandwich recipe. It just amazes me the amount of views that I get for a grilled cheese sandwich. But but I've seen a lot of people really mess a grilled cheese sandwich up. I've gotten grilled cheese sandwiches in restaurants, because I actually will order a grilled cheese sandwich in a restaurant, and I've had them to where they were gross. It was like, how could somebody mess up a grilled cheese sandwich? It's just so basic, but it happens all the time. So Dan says, he says, tomorrow I will fix 20 pounds of ground beef along with 5 pounds of ground chicken on the Blackstone for my pup. Ooh, so how do you do that? So the ground chicken and ground beef, do you like mix any vegetables into it? Is that, or is it just basic, just that? And is that like a week's worth of food, or, um, I've done my dog. I also have a spoiled dog. She's a 6-pound Yorkie. She's sleeping, thank God, right now. But she thinks she needs to eat what we eat, and I try to give her a few different stuff. We actually have her dog food out all the time, but she prefers people food. She thinks she's a person and she's gotta eat like us. So, but okay, so I want to point out I have my cookbook, Blackstone, or recipes for the Blackstone Griddle. You can go to my website, from Michigan to the table.com, or you can go to mygriddlesecrets.com and you can get this. And I also have this grilled cheese sandwich on my website. If you go, and you can get that recipe. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will be, what did Dan say here? She gets three ounces of meat and 1 cup of brown rice with mixed veggies. Good, twice a day. Now, what kind of dog is it? What kind of dog do you have? I know a gentleman that I go to the gym with. He was also feeding his dog a special diet like that. And he would tell me, and I tried feeding her some stuff, and she wasn't having it. She just likes to have what we have. But let's see, my cookbook, my course. I do have a griddle course. You can go a black lab, 6 years old. I used to have black labs when we grew up. We actually had a few of them. One of them was called Dog. He was a good black lab. My brother still has black labs, so yeah, black labs are really good. They're a really good dog to have, but kind of get big. Mine's a 6-pound dog, so a little bit different in size there. What else? My course, you can go on mygriddlesecret.com and check out my course. I do have a griddle course that you can take and learn all about the Blackstone griddle or flat top griddles. It's pretty universal. And I also have tons of recipes on there. You can check out my YouTube channel. I know a lot of you are watching this on Facebook. I do have these videos on YouTube. You can go and check them out. I have so many Blackstone griddle recipes that you can check out, and I'm adding to them all the time. So you wanna go on there and just watch, look to see what I have. I have them categorized. It's breakfast, Blackstone breakfast recipes, Blackstone dinner recipes. What else do I have? Just Blackstone recipes, griddle cooking. So let's see. I guess it's been 20 minutes. I am going to sign off. I will be back tomorrow. So I hope you guys have a great evening. I hope you have a good Valentine's Day tomorrow. And we will see you later. Bye.